I'm a boss. How am I not a boss? I can go turn a whole state on. A whole state. I could light it up. Change the demographic of a whole state from a pull-up. I grew up in Compton, so it was naturally stuff to get into. But my pops would set me down like, hey, I'm not coming to get you. I'm not putting up my house. I'm not digging in my pocket, and I'm not using my money to bail you out. He said, so whatever you doing, make sure you make enough money to get bail, a lawyer, and you comfortable sitting in that cell. He said, because I'm not coming to get you. He said, so whatever decision you get ready to make, when you walk out of there with your homeboys, know that you might have to sit in that box. He said, so be comfortable out there, and don't call my phone. So that stuck with me my whole life. Like,
he meant it.
He meant it. Like the.
How old were you?
What, when I had this conversation? Probably 13, 14. This is when I first started getting into real trouble. What? When I turned 18, first time I went to jail, I told him I went camping.
You told your father that?
I told moms and pops I went camping. Told them it was a camping trip. I got locked up for battery. I caught a battery case. They gave me 3 months. Just so happened that the 3 months that I had to do was over the summer. So my moms and pops used to drop me off at a friend's house who had a RV parked in the driveway. So I'm like, damn, what am I gonna tell my pops? I was like, all right, I'm gonna tell this nigga. He keep dropping me out. He's like, what they going? They going camping or something? I said, perfect timing. I said, yeah, I'm gonna go with them. I said, they going up to the mountains. They got a cabin and all that for the summer. I said, is it cool if I go? I'm like, I don't care. I was like, cool. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do that. So then a little time went by. I had to come up with a way to tell him, because I had to go to court. I didn't have no car at the time, so I had to drive his car. He wasn't letting me drive my car because he found bullets in the car. So he's like, you doing drive-bys in my car? You can't drive my car no more. I'm like, shit. So I know,
LA shit.
I know I gotta go.
To be concerned about.
Yeah, for sure. So I know I gotta go to court. So I'm like, damn, I'm gonna get to court. So I was gonna steal a car. I was like, I'm gonna just steal a car, go to court. I'm like, nah.
Steal a car to go to court for your battery charge.
Crazy, huh? So I'm like, nah, I can't knock no car. I was like, let me just get Pops to take me. I was like, let me tell him I'm going on a job interview. That'll get him. It's like, hey, Pops, man, got a job interview, man. Take me out to Orange County, job interview. It's like, you know, he ain't gonna turn it down. Boy, about to get a job. Shoot me out to Orange County court building. He's like, man, that's a courthouse. I said, yeah, man, it's a government job. I said, this is what they got you doing the little training and stuff. So I'm thinking I will go to court between 8 and 12. I didn't make the 8 to 12, man. I didn't go to court till 4 o'clock, man. Pops was sitting out there till 5 o'clock. He said he came up in the building like, man, this is a court building. It's a courthouse. I don't see where he doing no type of training at. So a little time went by. So he like, man, what happened? I was like, yeah, I got the job. You know, I think I got the job. They're going to call me back later. So in between that time, I got locked up, went on my camping trip. They found out I was going camping. I was calling home collect later on when the bill came, said Orange County Municipal Jail on it. And my mom was like, you was in jail?
Wait a minute. You was in jail that whole time, and they didn't know until you got home?
They didn't know till I went to jail, got out of jail, came home. They thought I went camping. Everything was cool. They didn't know till the phone bills started coming, and they looked at them. Because at first, like the first couple of months, I wasn't even calling. I was like, I ain't gonna call. I ain't gonna do nothing because I don't want nothing. But it got kind of towards the end in time. Like, you know, they was like, man, I was telling some dudes some older cats who was in there, they was like, man, you gotta call home, bro. Like, you can't. I'm like, they think I'm camping. They like, nah, you still they like, just call them and tell them you okay, give them a little camping story or something. I mean, I did it. It worked. I made it home.
Wildest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah, it was wild. Hey.
Niggas in LA normally do shit like that. Because we can't carry that shit in Hollywood.
Hey, that shit.
You can't say, yeah, I'm going camping. You going camping? What the fuck is you talking about, nigga?
It's crazy at the time. You gotta talk to my pops because it's crazy, but that shit really happened. Exactly fire. Like that.
That is fire. So you grew up in LA, Compton. Meech is from Southwest Detroit. Meech is a year younger than me. So how did somebody basically like a decade between you from the other coast, he's from the Midwest, you from the West Coast, how did y'all come together?
Through Bleu. Him and Bleu was doing music together, and Bleu seen we had a lot of the same common interests and wanted to put us together. Because I really didn't want to meet him. He was like, man, come over and meet these niggas. I'm like, man, I don't want to meet nobody else, none of your friends. Because he was in them Hollywood circles, but you know when you get in them circles, man, them dudes be weirdos and strange, bro. So I seen that at a young age. You know, Bleu been around them dudes at a young age, so I had money then. So to take me around them was comfortable because I fit what was going on, but I wasn't comfortable. So when it came to meeting him, it was just like another one. I was like, nah. He like, nah, he different. Like, this nigga real, he like us. I'm like, nah, nigga. He's like, man, just come through, fuck with me. Went over there and started fucking with him, and we had the same bad habits, smoking weed, and just chilling. And I think that just locked us in together.
Yeah, weed has been the basis of a lot of great friendships.
And like two Indians in a little circle, that was us. Like, we'd smoke some weed up. He told me he was a hustler, but, you know, I'm from LA. It's a bunch of hustlers out there, so it didn't really mean nothing to me. It was, okay, that's cool. It's just, that's your friend, but I ended up just going over there. Because, I mean, you know, we was hanging out. I just ended up...
Coming over from the West Coast?
No, he was... Meech was staying in Gardena. He was staying in Gardena at the time, so it was 5 minutes from where I lived. So it was like, just come through. And I went through one day, and it was just comfortable. Like, it was chilling how I was chilling around the corner. So I was serving at the time, so I would shut down the block when the sun went down. So I just started going over there. When the sun go down, I'll go over there, smoke with them, chill for a while. And from there, we just built a relationship and got real cool. I never really considered getting involved with his shit. It was just really an honest friendship. Like, we was just really cool. Like, I would fly out of town and hang out with him for parties and stuff like that. But in the midst of that, my car got stolen out his driveway. And he was trying to get me to be like, fuck that car, nigga, you ain't got to worry about that. I'm more or less, man, I got to get back to the house and get my shit back together. And he was like, look, man, stay right here and I can show you how to get that and some more. And he said you could go back home and do it your way. So I'm like, nigga, I'm going to go home and do it my way, man. This is your shit. You know, I like the way you live. That's cool, but I'm cool. So I was like, nah, man, I'm cool. I'm going to go on home. So, you know, them Indian circles, sitting there smoking, powwowing, got the conversation back up, and eventually he was like, man, just stick around here, nigga, I'll show you the world. Nigga, it's bigger than what you think. And the conversation was real, like, nigga, it's more to it than just LA. In my mind, I knew I was trapped. And I knew by the things that I was seeing by hanging with him that it was more to it than what I was seeing. And I wanted to see. So I'm like, let's go.
Did you have any idea of what level he was involved?
I mean, your street common sense can see what level by the things you see around, the houses, the cars. You can see what level a person is on, so you can judge it from there. That he was definitely on a level above me. Definitely.
This is 99?
I met him in 98. I say I started going places with him in 99.
Why did Atlanta become the base?
It wasn't really a base. I think the government, the police labeled it our base. It was just a place we came to have fun. And it just became the place where everybody seen us. So you would label it our base, but It was no base. Because we moved from everywhere. We'd stay here 3 months. We stay there 4 months. We stay over here 6 months. There was no base. It was, where do you feel like being right now? Like, let's go here for a while. Let's lay right here. Or let's go lay our head over here for a while. But on the outside looking in, it's, oh, they're always here partying. No, this is just the most comfortable, beautiful place to party. Why not come here? It's relaxed, it's laid back, the party scene is beautiful.
Indeed.
So what better place to go and show your ass and spend that money than Atlanta? So your mind state from the outside looking in is, this is their base. This wasn't no base. This is where we came to party at. That's because, I'm gonna tell you where that came from. That came from, I forgot where we was at, but somebody started calling me, hey boss, man, something boss. Like, nigga, don't call me boss, nigga. It's like, all them niggas over there is bosses too. You're like, why you sitting there calling me boss? And it filtered. I think that's where the we all bosses started at, is because he just like, nigga, you ain't about to be calling me boss. Like, nigga, I ain't your boss, nigga. Everybody in here boss. We all bosses. And if you looked at what we was doing, we was all bosses. Because everybody ran their own situation. From the outside looking in, you would see one man and a crew, because that's how your average drug organization or drug crew is laid out or depicted. It's the nigga who gets the plug and then he sells it to his friends, and there it is. Well, your average drug crews are citywide. We were nationwide, which means that each individual had more control than what you would do in your city. Sure. So therefore, I could run a state, or he could run a state, or you could run a state now, because now it's enough work to run states. We're beyond hoods. Hoods is 10 packs, 20 packs, 30 packs. We hundreds, 200s, 1,000. So I'm beyond a worker. I'm a boss. How am I not a boss? I can go turn a whole state on. A whole state. I can light it up. Change the demographic of a whole state.
It's like that again, without it actually being on the streets of America.
Crazy, ain't it?
Yeah. How would you account for that, bro?
I wouldn't really account for it on something, say, purposely. I say it's just something that happened, unplanned. Like, we used to laugh about it. You know how you go to swap meets and you see your rap-a-lot change, all, you know, different rap groups change. We used to go in there and see them in there and be like, one day they're gonna have BMF chains in here. It was just a joke, funny. And over time, you began to see it like, look, nigga, they got fake BMF chains. And you just saw it slowly affect the world.
That's an interesting thing. Fake BMF chains, like comparing it to rap labels.
Everybody in one way or another was affected by BMF, whether it was directly or indirectly, whether it be coming through a party, meeting somebody at a restaurant, being in a store at a certain time, and just reaping the benefits of being around somebody who was actually from BMF, because it was a more of a sharing thing. Like, you would look at us like, oh, they sold drugs, they were drug dealers, and the first thing that comes to mind is the bad things that are depicted of a drug dealer. And I think a lot of people met the other side of us before they met what people would say is the drug dealer. Once you met the drug dealer, it was nothing but negativity from there. But before you met the drug dealer, it was just a group of good men. And it can get discombobulated or mixed up with one thing going wrong, and I think that's what happened.
So, in contrast to Jeezy's genuine apparent passion to become a rapper, Bleu seemed a lot more lax about it. He seemed a lot less, he seemed more callous about it. It's like,
I think because he made so much money so early before his rap career took off. And I think that had a lot to do with the decisions that he made, good and bad. You know, having that much money turns a $1 million deal to a $5 deal. Because, nigga, I just counted $1 million 3-4 times this week. You gonna tell me you gonna give me $1 million deal when, in the aspect, nigga, that's a great deal for what you was doing at the time. There was a lot of deals that came across the table for him, and I think his cockiness, because he had so much going on and you had so much at the time, that it didn't even sound good to you.
Yeah. I was afraid that that's what was happening.
I mean, because I understand, you know, from the situation that was going on, because at the time they was into the music, but we was getting so much money at that point in time that he wanted to go as a crew to his shows and all of that, and I'd rather work. So now to ride with my homeboy, I don't want to ride with you. I'm gonna go catch this bag. And that's where the separation started to become with us, where it's like, man, come on, let's go do this. And I'm like, man, I'm working now. I got to do this, and he want to do that. And I think that's what changes some of the decisions that he made with his music.
And Jeezy.
There wasn't no separation move with Jeezy, because he was always doing his CTE thing.
I didn't.
It was never like that. He was always, see, that's what people, I think a lot of people get mixed up. Everybody always had their own crews, where they came from. You never had to stop being from where you from, or stop claiming what you claim because you with BMF now. And that, I think a lot of people get that misinterpreted with everybody who comes around, like, oh, he's still from there. He's still from wherever he was claiming before he met us. It does not mean we are a gang and you are affiliated with us and stop claiming. We are not a gang. That's the whole thing. We are a family. First and foremost, we are a family. He was accepted in as a family member, and that's how we accepted him, as family. All your homeboys, they become family too. CTE, whoever they are, everybody becomes a family, and that's what people don't realize. They like, oh, he switched up, or he did this wrong, or he did that. It wasn't never nothing about nobody switching up or nothing. It was us embracing him and his crew now, and that's where you started seeing CTE and BMF together like that. That was just us embracing what they had going on.
I think the idea that it was a family, or being promoted as a family, I think people didn't really get that. They didn't really get that.
That's because you saw negativity before you really got to embrace us. So now you're looking at us out of two different eyes. One eye you saying, oh, that's the guys who was helping out all of them people over there. And then the second eye you saying, well, that's the same guys that was on the news that they was talking about the other day, so I don't know.
Right.
So it's really a thing about, you have to take that time out and get to know somebody, talk to somebody. It's a lot of people who never just took that time and just sat down and talked to somebody, and it's a lot of people who did. And until you do it for yourself, you'll never know.
That's right.
It was glamorous, but I mean, when you think of the glamour, you should also think of the repercussions. I mean, if you comfortable with the glamour and you comfortable with the repercussions, it's a comfortable job for you. If you don't weigh the good with the bad of what could happen, then you're not thinking of what you're doing. I weighed the good and the bad. I was comfortable with what I was doing. I knew what the outcome could be. I was comfortable. I lived it. I embraced it.
What was the first thing you did when you came home? Did you come here, you go that way?
No, I came here. I wanted to see my kids. That's all I wanted to see. I just wanted to see my kids. That's the only thing I missed while I was locked up. My kids and my family. No cars, no money, no chicks. It's kids and family. That's all that mattered.
We were running around a lot back then, man. Did you get to see your kids and stuff like that as much? Did you take the opportunity to see them as much?
What, when back then? I was really just starting when I got locked up. So I got yanked from mine at the beginning.
Right.
So, you know, a lot of my getting to know my kids was through glass.
Right.
So I really got to know my kids once I came home. That's where I built that relationship at.
What do you do now?
Real estate.
Real estate. That's ironic.
Hey man, everybody need a place to live.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly.
Everybody need a place to live.
That's exactly right.
Real estate and food, man. Place to live and a place to eat.
That's right.
Two things you can't live without.
That's right. Yeah, you had the restaurant. Mm-hmm. Right.
Wing spot.
Right, the wing spot. Like I couldn't eat in.
Yeah, see, I'm gonna get you some vegan wings.
Yeah. I'm really glad that man, I'm really glad that you're here. You know, that we're face to face.
Yeah, man, I'm blessed.
I miss him, man. I miss it, bro.
Oh man, he'll be here sooner than you think.
Indeed, bro. It truly was the greatest show on earth. It really was. Mm-hmm. So, what is the future of BMF?
Man, we're about to tell y'all our story. That's the future.
There's a lot of people trying to do that.
Yeah, but it's kind of hard to tell it if you ain't from it.
Book.
On one night, you could write a full 24 hours. You could write a book on it.
That's right.
From waking up to the next morning, going back to sleep, because you ain't going to sleep till the next morning.
You feel nice about that?
So sun up to sun up.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, boy, I do. Well, we're gonna stay tuned, man. You know, if there was one thing that you could have done differently or changed, what would it be?
I would have never talked to the nigga who snitched on me. My lawyer came in and was like, hey, DA said she got a deal for you right now. I said, come on with it. What's she talking about? He said, hey, she'll let you sign for 28 right now. I said, 28 what? She's like, 28 years. I said, what have I done to deserve 28 years? I said, man, tell that lady we're going to the box. I said, we're going to the box. I said, go on. I said, get your 12. I said, we're going to the box before I sign for 28. Time went on.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it start off high. And what's crazy is you meet people in the system that's getting them same type of deals, and you meet dudes who take them. Like, I'm like, oh my God. He like, oh, I'm about to take this 20. I'm like, bro, I just saw a nigga get 7 years for what you just did. Like, wait. Like, just wait, bro. Ride it out. You know, that fear they pump into you.
Fear and ignorance is
it's and they drill it. They drill it in you, bro. And if you, they and like it's written on paper in there. They passing it around, but if you not reading it, it's crazy. Like it's written on paper to keep you from getting bail. Like, do not give them bail. This is written, typed on paper. Do not give them bail. You have better chances of them telling on their friends. This is typed for them to read, to not give you bail, because you got a better chance of him copping to a higher sentence and telling on his friends, because you amongst a bunch of men who can't make decisions for themselves. So now you get caught up in a lot of wrong decisions. You hearing dudes taking 30s and 40s and 20s, like taking them on the chin like it's nothing. Your little 15, 17 starting to sound like nothing. It's really not sounding like nothing. My celly just took 45. It's really, I've been in here 2 years. It's not that bad. It's not what they say on the streets. And that's what they want you to do. That's how they want you to believe. Oh, I'll just take the dub. Not me. We gonna ride this puppy all the way out. And that's what I did. I rode him.
So you just held out until they came with...
Yeah, I just kept holding. I mean, my case, they had it was a messed up case the way our case was. Like it was all built off wiretaps. So one of my co-defendants, the wiretaps that they had on him, they heard him getting washers and dryers, a truckload. So they figured, this coded language. So they was like, washers and dryers. Oh my God, this is them. This is a truckload they getting. We got them. So they put the indictments out, rounded everybody up. As soon as the truckload backed up in there, they got that truck full of washers and dryers.
How about that?
So they was lost. So they had us. So now they didn't push this indictment too early. But it's still, the whole thing is, like, my lawyer, he's like, man, this is the best thing ever. Like, they jumped the gun, they thought they had y'all. He's like, but somebody gonna tell. I'm like, hell no, not my crew. Like, not out of these niggas. My nigga, they start, but that's where you see 200 niggas get indicted. It's not 200 niggas who actually seen something.
Right.
Now you got 200 niggas on paper who just tell on somebody for anything. Because once the DA, they create their own story. It's not your story. No matter how true your story is, it's their story fixed up for your life. And what they do is they just pick people out of your circle who will talk. And they just say, hey, fill in the blanks on our story. And we'll sell this in court. Fuck what the truth is. But you don't learn that till you get behind that wall.
You might hear it, but you won't believe it.
You hear it, but in the heat of the moment, it's what it is. It's somebody talking. It's talk until that gate slam, and you talking about, hey, slide me a tray up under here, and it get real. That's when it get real. You like, oh, and that's when all them thoughts come back, like, oh, of what I shoulda, coulda, shoulda done.
I mean, that must be a motherfucker when you can think back to a point where you made a decision that wasn't based in ignorance. It's like, it wasn't like I didn't know better. I knew better. I just did what I did anyway, despite knowing better. That must be, I mean, it's a human condition, but under the circumstances where you find yourself incarcerated, it's a little heavier, I would say. Right.
I hear what you're saying, but I kind of knew. Like we used to talk back in the day, nigga, like I was comfortable with it.
You were the only one that I felt really did that.
I was comfortable. I knew it's too much.
I don't think anybody else really accepted the inevitability.
I mean, look how much dope we was moving, bro. Look what we was doing. Just look at it. You gotta know. They do movies about what we was doing.
That's right.
So there's a beginning and an ending to every story.
That's right.
Is it a happy ending? It's up to you. You can jump out early, make it happy for yourself, or ride it out and see how happy it ends. I chose to ride it out.
And hold whatever came with it. And fortunately, it wasn't something unbearable. And how old were you?
30.
You were 30 when it happened. Mm-hmm. Why didn't you pray for forgiveness? Why didn't you pray for...
What am I asking forgiveness for?
Okay. Why didn't you pray for, to be set free?
Set free from where?
From your incarceration.
I mean, it was gonna come. I mean, I knew nothing. I knew it wasn't a life sentence. So, whatever they was gonna give me, I was comfortable with. I mean, I was. You could say I was built for it. I was already prepared for it. We talked about it years before it happened. Like I was really deep down prepared for it. So you want to know what's crazy? I got my best sleep my first 2 weeks of prison. My first 2 weeks of getting locked up.
That's not uncommon at all.
First 2 weeks I slept. That's when I got. All that time, it's like my body was running. I was on the run for years. My body's just constantly on the run.
Yeah, see,
but once they got me, it was like, I'm going to sleep.
People don't understand that.